This is the Cozy Corner Podcast. I'm BTL.
And I am Ember.
Yo, what it do, Ember?
Please stop.
Remember to follow us on Twitter. That's at Cozy Corner Show. One word with a K and a Z. And what is our Insta?
Corner the Cozy.
Corner the Cozy. If you want to catch up on all the episodes, cozycornerpodcast.com is the place to do so. So, Ember.
Yes.
How's your night going?
It's going pretty good. Today was pretty productive. I'm really
You had a pretty
happy.
productive day. What did you do today that was productive?
We did the same thing.
What?
We lived the same life.
You were far more productive than I.
Well, you helped with my productivity, so...
I definitely was your biggest cheerleader, and always will be.
I think last night I was just, like, super duper stressed. No, that was Friday. No, that was Thursday.
Don't all the days just start to run together the older you get?
Yeah,
like,
well, Monday is going to be, like, tomorrow's, like, work day, and that's going to be so great and wonderful. No, so I was just really stressed out last night, and the thing that kind of made me feel better was, like, getting up today and making sure, you know, the things that I can control are nice and clean. And I've been Marie Kondoing, you know, sections of my wardrobe or sections of the room, and getting rid of a lot of things.
So, by Marie Kondoing, you mean...
She has a Netflix show, and it's pretty much whatever brings you joy, you keep, and whatever doesn't spark joy, you get the...
You throw out.
Yeah, fuck you. I don't need you anymore. Get out of here.
So, you spent a lot of the day today throwing some stuff out, cleaning, tidying up, being productive. Being productive.
It feels good. And then this week, I will be challenging myself to wake up at 6 a.m. and go to bed at 10 p.m. Which, I mean, doesn't seem like that hard of a thing to do.
No, it does. It definitely does.
It doesn't. It does?
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
No, it feels like it does. But, like, people wake up... Now that I work from home, I don't have, like, that normal routine anymore. So waking up at 6 a.m., like, was a thing I had to do. And now it's not a thing I have to do. So now I'm just trying to get into, like, a better routine. I'm getting sluggish. I'm getting lazy. I gotta pep myself up somehow. So we'll see how this challenge goes.
I think statistically, like, people who wake up earlier have a better work ethic and just do more with their lives.
Yeah. I need to do... I'm not being the most productive. So maybe this will help. We will see. I will update you guys on the next Cozy Corner.
If she makes it.
I hope I make it. I really want to. Waking up at 6 a.m.
Okay. Oh, so how many people listening think that she'll make it through the whole week? 6 a.m. wake up time, 10 p.m. sleepy sleep time. So that's the challenge.
And people who want to do this with me as well.
We'll call
#, Cozy Corner.
This isn't going to come out for like a minute.
That's fine.
All right.
We'll do it next week too.
Okay.
Or however.
Well, you got to get through this week coming up. So the Ember Get Your Life Together challenge in April. It's never too late. #.
No.
I think I did some of those words backwards. Yeah. So if you want to do the Ember Get Your Life Together challenge, # with her. She started on Monday, so if you're listening not on Monday, it's never too late. That's what the Ember challenge is all about.
Just start. Are you saying it's too late for me?
No, it's never too late. You're not listening, but it's not too late to start listening.
The #the Cozy Challenge. That's what it's gonna be.
No.
Yes.
Because I won't be doing this challenge with you.
No, just the productive half of the Cozy Corner.
Productive half. We'll see how long it takes to get this episode out.
Yeah, that's true.
You better hope both halves are being productive. So, the news has been ripe with, I don't want to say idiocracy, but I feel like headlines come out and people decide just to read the headlines and jump to their own conclusions and not really go into the story. Like, I would like to think I'm a free thinker, right? Because I don't always read news stories either. But if I see a headline that grabs my attention, I will. If I see a headline that makes me jump to a conclusion that doesn't make sense to me, I'll be like, well, what's that story about?
Well, you've done that at the Cozy, like, you've done that in prior podcasts. Like, this,
yeah, 1,000%.
Like the guy who, mugged people with just an ice cream scoop?
Yeah. And that turned out to be great. Speculation, but that's the thing. If something though didn't make sense to me, like for some reason, I can expect someone to try to rob a store with an ice cream scoop. That doesn't seem so far fetched to me. Is that sad?
Yes.
However, if I read something that didn't make sense to me in a headline, then I would be more likely to actually read the story. For example, if I read a headline that made me believe Disney was banning strollers from their parks, I would be like, wait, that doesn't make sense. They wouldn't ban strollers from the parks because, strollers and kids, they go hand in hand. And so it would make sense to me, to read that article and see that Disney's not actually banning strollers in their parks nationwide. They're just banning certain size strollers. And isn't that something you ran into earlier when that story broke, right? And it kind of was, it peeved you a bit.
Yeah. Can I let you know that it took you forever to get there?
Well,
just cut that
some
part out.
Explaining.
Took you
I cut out nothing.
Oh my!
This is all gold. This is podcast gold.
It took you so long to get
podcast
there. Oh my
gold.
God. Okay, yeah. So this week I did run into. I follow some Disney things. We're annual pass holders. When we go there, I've noticed that there's these big wagon strollers now.
Not now. Those have always been.
I guess now that we go so often, it's the ones I've noticed. And I think those are the ones that are being targeted because those are freaking huge. But angry mothers out there just don't like to read. And you know what? They probably don't have the time. So I completely get that. I completely understand that.
What do you hold the phone here? Because you're talking about things that pissed you off were like Facebook comments from these angry mothers. So if they have the time to be scrolling through their Facebook
that is
feed,
true. They need to use their time a little more wisely. I'm not saying all mothers. I'm just saying these specific mothers who just think that Disney would ban strollers altogether.
So we should probably, speaking of taking us a while, we really haven't talked about what the main story is in the first place.
Well, we practically said it. I mean, you guys know what's
We've alluded to it, but if some of those people who left angry comments on that news story are listening, they're not going to get what we're saying. So Disney has come out and said they're banning certain size strollers. I don't remember what the exact specifications were, but what you mentioned earlier, the wagon size strollers are pretty much banned. Double wide strollers are not really banned. It depends on the size of the double wide, but you can still have like two kids next to each other.
Or the umbrella ones. That's what they were saying in the comments. Like umbrella strollers, the one where it's like the kids in the front and the kids in the back.
Right. Those I think are pretty much banned. And
no, those are good.
Those are so good? Mm-hmm. Okay. So these restrictions then are, they're pretty broad. So you just want to double check the stroller that you have. And according to the article, several articles on this topic, many strollers meet these requirements already. So people are getting upset mostly because they're not really reading the details of this story. So there's new stroller rules for Disney, and this is Disney parks nationwide. There's new stroller rules. There's ice rules. You can't bring in loose ice. You can still bring in like ice packs. You can't bring in dry ice. Was that a big thing?
I'm guessing so. I mean, that's kind of smart to bring dry ice.
You just fog everywhere. You want to create fog here.
That's not all it does, but it keeps things
line.
Like super cool.
It's a distraction. And then there was one more rule, or was that it basically?
Oh, the smoking ban.
The smoking ban, that's right. Inside Disney parks, no smoking or vaping, but you can still do so outside of the park entrances. And that one, I feel like that didn't get as much as an uproar as the stroller thing.
Because smoking's gross. I'm sorry if I offend anybody by saying that, but it's kind of gross. It really is. I don't know why people do it.
Well, I think many smokers would actually agree with you, because there's a percentage of smokers who are actively trying to quit because they know it's bad. But just like the Ember, it's never too late #, challenge, you know, they're still trying.
Smokers, join me on my challenge and stop doing that, because you're smoking up your insides. Okay, so I will say I did have a comment. Okay, BTL always tells me not to leave comments on Facebook, because Facebook can also engage.
Don't engage with the trolls, because they're always hungry.
But sometimes they're not trolls. Sometimes they're just like misinformed.
Let's just put them all as trolls.
No, but this one wasn't it wasn't a troll, but she went ahead and commented like, so does this mean disabled people are out? ? And this kind of really irked me. They wouldn't do that, especially Disney, like wouldn't be doing that to disabled children or disabled elders. Like they just wouldn't do that. You know, I think Walt Disney World is, you know, inclusive and tries to, you know, have the magic for everybody. So that kind of irritated me, just because, you know, I don't think that that's something that they would ever do. But the fact that somebody would just first go, and I'm not sure if she had disabled children, I'm not sure if she had disabled loved ones. She just kind of put it out there. And I said no, and I tried to, you know, let her know, like, it's a restriction, it's a size restriction, but most strollers are gonna, you know, be able to go ahead and make the requirement. And they didn't have a wheelchair restriction; they had a stroller restriction.
Oh, so that's where she was getting confused.
Well, then she also said, well, people with disabilities like strollers, because they're easier to maneuver. And again, I had to clarify again, even though like it looks like she doesn't like to read. But I was just like, it's not a stroller ban. It is a size restriction. They just hear ban and then they just kind of go for it.
Right.
They don't like to be banned. But that's also hits a really great thing that you and I always talk about, is like the kid. How old is a kid that you want to bring to the theme park?
37.
No. I
Years,
get
by the way.
Bringing a child to like 3 to like the 5, 7, 8, you know, once it gets after 3.
If they're not old enough to form memories, I wouldn't bring them to a park.
But as annual pass holders, and I'm not saying everybody has annual passes, but you and I have annual passes.
We do. We're very fortunate.
We're super fortunate.
In this economy.
And it's something that we've definitely wanted for a while, and, you know. So, as pass holders, if I had a child, and I was only going to go to the park for 2 hours, I don't see why not having a baby. Not a baby, but like a little kid. Put a little outfit on, take them to meet Pluto, take a picture, and then just go home. 2 hours, I feel like, even 2 to 4 hours, I feel like that's reasonable. And as annual pass holders.
Wait, what was that last thing you said?
2 to 4.
2 to 4 hours. 2 hours?
Like 4 is max.
I'll give you. But you're going to have... See, here's the thing. I've seen kids at theme parks while just eating, or in general, because I've seen it on more than one occasion. They'll be like chasing a squirrel, or like grabbing a butterfly, or just like playing with a bush, and they're happy just doing that. That kid could have just
but I see like
monumental fun
I do see the mom
anywhere.
Side of like the point of view, or the parents, I'm gonna say just mom, but like to have like those pictures, like, you know, those Disney pictures.
But then you need to admit that that's more for you, not for the kid. Because
it's for both of you. It's like you.
But the kid doesn't
place.
Understand like the gargantuan. Like, wow, this is fucking Disney World. This is incredible. They're just like, I'm hungry. I'm tired. Wow.
Well,
look, a squirrel.
Then what's the point of like decorating a kid's room with nursery stuff if they're not going to remember it?
Bright colors. It stimulates the mind and creativity.
Robert.
You could just put bright colored paint swatches on the wall.
Pray for me.
It doesn't have to be.
Pray for me. No, I'm just saying, I get it. I get it on the parent side. I would totally, if I have the annual pass when we have children and they're like 2 and we're only going to go for a couple hours.
Okay, again,
I will do it.
A couple hours, sure.
The whole day I wouldn't, no.
And it's going to be up to the family, up to you personally.
Of course. Nobody cares what we're saying. They're going to do whatever they want to do.
Not the last ride we went on when we visited Disney, but the second to last ride we went on. How was that? How did that go? Do you remember that ride?
Yeah, it was awful.
Why was it awful? What made it awful?
Okay, the one thing that and that's different.
It's taking you a really long time to get there.
I'm saying it's different because you and I know what it's like to not have kids and be able to enjoy Disney not having children, but being old enough to make this decision on our own. Like, no one's taking us to Disney. We're taking ourselves to Disney.
Why was that ride not enjoyable?
Okay, hold on. So I'm saying, I wouldn't do this to other people because I know what it's like to pay out of your own pocket in order to go ahead and enjoy an experience like Disney. Other people have children and don't care about other people's experience, and they drag a whiny... That kid needed a freaking nap. 2 kids on that ride needed a freaking nap. It was a safari. And then these kids were just yelling and screaming and howling the whole entire flight. Or the whole entire safari.
Right.
So, in conditions like this, there should be a part of somebody's brain that says, you know what, I'm not going to torture these people on the safari trip. My child is not going to enjoy it. They're already in a mood. They need a nap. But I'm going to take a nap.
These are the same people that are like, I spent all this money to... they're not rationally thinking about their children's needs.
No.
I spent all this money coming out here doing this. We're doing this damn safari.
And I agree with you. I don't think that they were... wanting that experience for their kids because their kids didn't care where the hell they wanted to go. They needed sleep or they needed to eat. Those kids were rowdy. Whether they were, we're not going to talk about discipline because I really think that it was just like the end of the day. They might have been at the park all day. If I knew that my kid was being a whiny little poopy and he needed some sleep or he needed to eat or anything like that, I would not let my child go on the ride because there's other people who are trying to enjoy the ride and it's not fair to them. But that's different because not everybody is like that. Right.
And they probably were on vacation here from out of state.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that seems to make sense. It is selfish, though. You have to kind of have that line, whether you want to have a good time, but you don't want to mess up anybody else's time either, especially a safari. That's like one car, and I think there was 15 people in there?
Well, and that's... Yeah, but that's the thing. I feel like I'm starting to notice a little more. And maybe it's just because I don't know if I'm getting older or I'm getting to the point where soon in my future I might have kids. But it seems like some parents now, they're just so... we set out to do this and this today. We're going to do this. It's supposed to go this and this way. They don't let any variables or leeway come into play when it comes to their children. We were walking by Small World and Peter Pan one time, and there was this kid just crying, right? And then the mother... Or father?
The father.
The father, just pulled them aside. Or maybe I'm even thinking of a different occasion where, the father was saying, don't come at me like that. You need to calm down.
Oh, okay. So you're confusing two different things.
I'm confusing two different
So there was this man, and he had the baby in his hands. And his baby was crying for something. It was hot that day. Yeah. I will say that. So I can already tell, a kid would not be comfortable in that kind of, condition.
Right.
So probably the kid needed something because that's usually why kids cry. unless it's being a brat, then, that's another story. But he was just yanking on his kid's arm and saying, shut up. And it was, like, scary. I mean, if I heard it and it was scary, let alone this little kid. And the kid was just crying even more, because that's not how you get a kid to shut up. But that's another parenting. The end of the night, we were walking by the carousels. And, no, it was by Peter Pan, you're right. Mm. And it was this woman talking to her, like, teenage son. And she was not having it. I think it was the end of the night. Something was going on, and she was like, don't come at me like that. She was scary too. I was like, let's walk a little faster, because this is the happiest place on earth, and I really don't need that negativity.
So real quick before we wrap it up here, I just want to give out pointers to if you're going to bring a child to the parks.
Because Bobby knows so much about this.
You know what? Actually, you shut your mouth. We're having worked in the major 3.
Okay, I actually brought a 3-year-old, actually a 2-year-old to the park, so I know a little bit about.
Cool. Then you can back me up.
Okay.
All right. So if you're bringing a child to the park, first off, make sure you're staying hydrated.
Yes.
Don't bring just one water bottle to share. Have water. And
everybody
I'm not
gets
saying
their
that
individual
off the top
water.
Of my ass. I've seen this. Yes. Well, even if you have a large water bottle, always have like a backup water bottle prepared in case your main water bottle runs out. So you're always constantly filling, right? So if the main water bottle runs out, you have the backup. But while you're using the backup, use the main water. Like find somewhere to fill up the main water bottle. So stay hydrated. If it's hot, sunscreen. Florida gets really hot. So sunscreen fans. Maybe some sort of towel
Cooling towel.
can. Yes, it's some sort of towel you can get damp.
Wipes.
Wet wipes. Yes, all of these necessities. Snacks. Yes, like
but not
bars.
chocolate snacks. No melty snacks.
Right.
Because it's hot.
Just something your kids can munch on if they're getting hungry. And remember, it does get hot.
And if you buy merchandise at Walmart and not at the parks, and your kid's young enough and doesn't really care, save yourself some coins.
Maybe keep them at the hotel while you're doing that. So, this was a very productive episode. How would you sum it up?
I mean, it's a productive day for a productive episode.
True.
And it's going to start a productive week.
There you go. Oh, yeah. Don't forget the It's Never Too Late for Ember #challenge.
That's not.
And
the cozy challenge #.
That's not going to be it.
Yeah.
Remember, follow us on Twitter, on Instagram. What's our Insta?
Corner the Cozy.
Corner the Cozy.
Which I'm gonna be updating that. The hashtag Corner.
All episodes past and present, cozycornerpodcast.com. For Cozy Corner, I'm BTL.
I am Ember.
Have a good night.